On board today, Coach, and I would like you to introduce yourself to us the way you would love to be addressed.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for that intro. I am Coach Ojimadu. I'm Nigerian, of course. I was formerly based in Ukraine, and then I was working with Shakhtar Donetsk, their grassroots football academies. And my task in my region was like to grow the young ones, identify the talents, and at the end of the day to get them into the main academy, into the main team, the main team line. So that's what I was doing for a long time until what happened. The war broke out, and then my family and I had to take my family out of Ukraine, for our safety because we faced very dangerous situations there. So we had to flee. And right now, I'm in the Republic of Ireland, settled down, and like you said, doing what I love doing. You can take the guy out of the football area there, they cannot take the football out of him. He'll always sew it back into the ground, whatever he lands. So that's who I am. And apart from that, I'm also like a life coach. I love working with youths. I do have youth empowerment programs. I had an NGO back in Ukraine that was then we used to organize, youth empowerment programs, and also had the charity branch of it. So, working with the younger generation has been the passion that I've had for a long time. So, apart from bringing it into football as well, it's also about general life. Just working with the younger ones and trying to, show them the right path so that they can make impact in the world in the future as well, and in the society around them in particular. So that's basically who I am.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, sir. And to the audience out there, why we have Coach with us today is because our platform basically is we're focused on empowering the grassroots and also educating and helping them grow. That's one aspect of the structure we believe, just like Coach said, is the fundamental of anything that will come. If anything good is going to come out of the system, you have to start from the grassroots, basically. So that's why we're bringing in people we know or we believe would have a very lasting impact on that, on the grassroots in Nigeria and outside of the country. We're not localized and see just Nigeria alone, but we are also looking at Nigerians in diaspora because our sporting circle is, we don't want to say we're suffering from, grooming in athletes from that grassroots into the national team or whichever side. Let's take, for instance, Olympic is coming up very soon, maybe this year, apparently. What's the plan? How many grassroots are going to be in the Olympics? Are we going to start 6 months before Olympics? You start looking for the Nigerian playing volleyball in Sweden, in maybe in Germany. What's going on with our grassroots system in Nigeria? So that's why we're here to help the grassroots, to speak about it, not just to critique, but also to provide solution. And we believe in providing solution. We have to bring people that understand that structure, people that have worked within the grassroots and have made something reasonable and solid out of it. And that's why we have Coach Oji today to join us, Coach Obi, to join us today. And the first question we'll be asking, we're moving forward is, can you take us through the early stages of your coaching journey? What inspired you to become a football coach? Because growing up, especially your generation, a lot of people want their kid to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, that profession, especially coming up from that background in Nigerian home, we want our kids to be on tie and everything. We want that professional thing. Once you now say you want to be a football coach, they see you as your mate is a doctor. Why do you want to be a football? So what drove you? How did it start? How did the journey start for Coach Oji, basically? Ojimadu. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I can't talk about my coaching career without going way back to my childhood. While back in Nigeria, as a young boy in the secondary school in the 80s, mid 80s. So, and like any other kid, growing up, we're like playing football everywhere, like on the streets, in the backyard, Sundays, everywhere, every time, So, and then I was quite good. I played in my school team then, Wary. And after that, I aspired even going into the Wanyamu National youth team then, when they moved from Spartans to Wanyamu National. So, and I was there, went through the trials, everything was going on fine. And I was also looking ahead to make the Nigerian under 17 team then. I was around the 80, 80, 87 set. So, but then, as fate will have it, I got a scholarship to travel to the Soviet Union. So it had to do about education, or am I trying to be a footballer? And like you rightly mentioned, those days, I mean, it's all about being a doctor and engineer and all that. So nobody was talking about football. And then rightly so, football was like, there was no money in it. You get injured and then everybody forgets you and that's it. And I didn't have that option. It was no brain and I had to, leave the country. And that was where my footballing dreams, as I played, being a footballer, kind of ended, if I would say. Right there in Nigeria, I mean, like a young man. But moved over to the Soviet Union, then I still played in university team, played in Nigerian community team. So playing football had been my passion all along. And I graduated as a mechanical engineer, but the passion still remained, for football. So over the years, I used to watch football. I used to go to matches. I love analyzing football, learning about formations and all that. So so in the past few years, it got to a point, in Ukraine, where I settled, I was like, come on, I think it's time I take this higher. In life, it's always great when you follow your passion and you try to make something out of it. So you get not just like maybe financial rewards, but you also have that psychological, rewards and satisfaction at the same time. So I applied for the UFRC license program, which I did. We're just like two foreigners in the whole of Ukraine, in the program that time that went through it, and I did it successfully with distinction. And after that, as fate would have it, I had a manager from Shakhtar Donetsk who did the course with us. So he was thrilled about, my performance during the coaching, the training. So he was like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to recommend you to get you a job with Shakhtar Donetsk. I was like, okay, let's give it a go. So we later, I put my application for the interview, sat down, and we discussed about what my vision is about football in general. And I made it clear, like, it's all about working with grassroots. You cannot reap where you don't sow. And now I'm that kind of person that likes sowing and then grooming the seeds, and the plant itself, making it grow so that tomorrow it can turn into a big tree that will give cover and shade to people and to other trees as well, to make an impact in the society. So I told him, yeah, I would love to join the grassroots program. So in my region, then I headed the grassroots program. We had teams from under 5s down to under 4, under 12s, different all age category from under 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I was like in charge of all these groups. So, and I made that time working with each team at every point in time. And, and the idea was not just about playing tournaments or anything. No, it's about growing the kids, teaching them basic football. And it was about getting every kid. You don't need to do trials. The idea is like, don't do trials. Get everybody in. Because there are children that will bloom much later. Some might give you that spark of brilliance, and then all of a sudden they will fade away. So give everybody that opportunity. Even if that person doesn't become a footballer or a great footballer, even maybe by 16 or 17, but football will be a kind of instrument in helping this child grow. You need to teach them discipline, teamwork, and a lot of other things.
I was
And
about
we,
to say,
and we, the coaches, were, the idea was that we had to be like mentors to these children. So it became, more like a family thing, or each team, it's like a small family on its own, with the parents, with the kids, and all that. So it worked very well. It worked very well. I had about 120 kids under my care. there in the club in the club in the program in my region, in the Kharkiv region. So and everything worked out very, very fantastically. So that was where I started from. And though I'm also a businessman actually. I had a company, so I would do my 9 to 4 things, and then evenings I moved to trainings, and got to the time when the business was like handling itself, and I had people managing it. So I gave more time to football. Then after a while, I now applied for the UEFA B license, which I finished. Which in fact I was doing when the war started. So,
That
but
was ready to your profile. I think that was in 2022.
2022, yes.
Yeah.
So the great thing was that the licensing body, under the Ukrainian Football Association, they were really impressed with my work. Not just that I have the C license, they saw the program I was doing with Shakhtar Donetsk and my personal input and the results actually that came. So they said that, oh, we have to give you the opportunity. Though I moved over to Ireland, they still allowed me to do the course while in Ireland. We could do one-on-one online. Then I did the practical aspect I did over here in Ireland. They send them the videos. They could send an instructor to come and monitor what I was doing, or give marks and report to them. So luckily, I finished the UFAB licensing program here in Ireland, under the Ukrainian Football Association. So it was just a great thing. One that I truly thank God for the opportunity. And here I am today. So actually, that's the journey from the beginning before I got to Ireland.
Oh, that's very nice. So one thing I think I picked from what you said is brilliance in what you do. I think in whatever thing anybody does, you have to put in your best and be the best at what you do. And secondly, I think in the grooming aspect, it looks like it's not just left to the clubs alone to groom players. I think the nation as a whole has a structure, because you said in your own unit, in your own maybe district, this is what you're doing. So I think I'm assuming probably the government has a hand in the structural design that is being put in place for the grassroots. Because if a club is that detailed enough, I think they are feeding their national team. That's They are already having a structure. We want this to feed into the national team. Let everybody come, like you rightly said. Let's develop them. It's just like, oh, then we filter as they grow, because also football, one thing about sports people don't understand is this: it imbibes discipline into a child. It's
That's
not
right.
everybody that might turn out into a professional footballer, but they waking up every 5 a.m., you're working out every day. That routine, if you take it into your professional work, there's always a difference. There's a research I was reading by, I think, an American university that the study shows the difference between a child that did sports when they were young and those that didn't do when they were young in their career path. Like those ones that did sports when they were young are always very disciplined and focused on their career path compared
Yeah.
to the other ones. So there's this discipline sport imbibes into people. And I think that's one part we also have to credit you and Shatter the Next and the government for, probably. So moving to the next question, which now we'll be going into the core aspect, is as a coach, what's your coaching philosophy? You know, like some people, like the previous coach I brought in, he said he's antagonist or attacking football. This is a student of Klopp, is a student of Mourinho, so he likes compact football and everything. Which then in Lagos he was also called a pressing coach. That's how he plays his own football. We already know that's how Ayeri plays his own football. But
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
coach, if I'm talking about you now, how do you set up your team, Coach Obi? What's your own philosophy as Coach Obi? What's the most important thing for you as a coach? Because why we're saying this is this, we know every coach has their own style of doing things. And in getting to that pinnacle also, those are the things that takes us to the pinnacle. Let's take, for instance, the coach that manages Nigeria now. Initially, I don't know how he plays football. I'm being honest. I don't understand his philosophy. I don't understand how he set up his team. But I think now maybe we're seeing how he intends to play. Just scoring one goal, block, pack the bus. That's an approach or philosophy of the present Nigerian Super Eagles coach. So, what is your own philosophy, sir, if we may ask?
I'll start by saying that first of all, the main important thing, my philosophy in football as a coach, first of all, I want to open the eyes of the players. What do I mean by that? I want them to have that vision. I want them to learn to make decisions and to make the right decisions. Again, I've worked so long with the grassroots. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important. It's one thing to tell a player, do this, do that, or do this and do that. And it's another for that player to see that this is what he has to do at that point in time. And it's very important. Many coaches neglect that, but that is the most important thing when you are coaching a team or grooming players, no matter the age grade. They must learn to make decisions and they must learn to think. Learn to know how to play with their teammates. If they're up front together, how do I relate to him? How does he play? If he's a striker, when do I make my runs? How do I stand to get the pass? So for me, first thing is opening the eyes of the players, making them to see, making them to think for themselves at every point in time. And of course, talking about formations and stuff, it's something, talking about attack, some people like attacking. Again, first, I pay attention to the crop of players that I have. I like to adapt a system that will really bring out the best in them. First of all, to help them grow, to see, like I mentioned first, and now to bring out their best while they're playing. So like the team I'm managing right now, we don't have many attackers. They will have fantastic midfielders, wing backs. So I set up the formation in a way that we just have like maybe 1 or 2 strikers in the team, like you can call out all and out strikers. But the most danger come from the wingers, come from the midfielders, the wing backs and everything. So in any season, let's say if we score 100 goals, believe me, most of the goals come from midfielders and even from the wingers and stuff. So if you're trying to attack the team or try to find a kind of antidote to our game plan, you can get any goal from any angle at any point in time. So I try not to like say, okay, it's going to be all out attack every time, all out defense. No, we try to adapt. I try to make sure I also watch the team we're playing and study them properly and make sure my boys will play in a way that we would get the results that we want. But of course, I love attacking football. That's what it's all about, attacking football. So I might defend, then I'll try to make sure the transition is going to be very, very quick. And before you know it, we've countered and we've scored you a goal. Even to the point that while I was in Ukraine, my under-10 team were so brilliant in counter-attacks. I mean, some other coaches used to come and ask me, say, how did you do that? 10-year-old kids to understand how to, like, from the defense to 2 passes, the ball is already with the striker there, he has scored a goal. These are things you teach them and make them to also kind of, like I said, see, have that vision, get their eyes open and quick thinking. So I adapt to the situation. We can play a good defensive game. We can also play an all-out attacking game anywhere, anytime against anybody. If it's tough, then if we go into counter-attacks, we make sure we do it so properly that before they know it, they have the ball behind the net. So I try to be very pragmatic and very, very fluid, when it has to do with the coaching methods. I make sure I have the right people there on the pitch who can give the results that we need at any point in time. So that's how I look at it, frankly. And most importantly, let me just underline one thing again, is like whenever I join any team, no matter the age, I have just like 2-3 questions to them. I ask them, who's the best player in the world? What's the best team in the world? And who's the best coach in the world? And I say, no, don't be in a hurry to answer. Just think.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. We're on this pitch right now. Answer these questions. Then the smart ones will remember. They'll go like, okay, I'm the best player in the world. Or I might rephrase it if they're young. I might say, who's going to be the future best player in the world? They will understand that they will say, me. The best club is ours. The best coach is you. So it brings a kind of, you might think it's not important, but it makes them understand who they are, where they are, who they are working with, and what the goal is supposed to be. And I tell them, yes, that for us to be all these things that we've mentioned, we have to work hard and bring this into our games. And at the end of the season, we call ourselves, hey, we were right. In 10 years' time, we'll remember this day and say, oh, yes, we are right. Even if we're not in this team, but you go over there and remember that, yes, you are the best player in the world. So I try to instill that confidence in them. And you can't be the best player if you don't have teammates helping you to be the best of yourself. So I use all these to to form a kind of core ethos, in everything that I work with. And it really, really works. It works every time. I've tried it years, many places. Believe me, it works. So that's actually how I look at my own football philosophy, if I put it that way.
Okay. I think what I deduce from that is first, you work with what you have on ground.
Yeah,
And secondly, you are not a pragmatic coach. You want to play based on who you'll be playing against, if I'm not wrong. You
yeah,
want to out for the best formation. You're not like the Pep that this is how Pep plays if he's playing with Real Madrid. Attack them. If he's playing against Luton City, is the same style he's going to play. He's not changing. He's ever present. He's ever playing this wing and this. But you enjoy counter attack based on what I'm observing
yes,
from your
yes,
words. So I want
yes.
to say you're very compact in defense. Then for anybody that would want to counter, would want a very compact team. Then because it takes that blockage of space and everything, knowing where you have to be at the right time to be able to counter and all that. So I would want to
That's
say
right.
maybe you're very good with space management,
Yep,
and also you're good with training the players to know where they are supposed to be at every point in time, and also synchronizing every situation that may occur at every point in time on the pitch, which I think is one of
absolutely.
the things we may be missing in the grassroots sector in Nigeria. Now, I want to take it a top notch back to Nigeria. We've talked about your work, abroad and everything. We know you've really done well in Ukraine. You've spoken about that, and presently you are in Ireland. You're working with the grassroots and everything. Going back home now, I think this is even off the track now. Okay, going back home, I believe you still have a connection back with the Nigerian client, even if you don't go regularly. But I believe you see what's going on there. You read about the grassroots there. If you're being called upon today and we call, oh, okay, Obi, what can you design? How can we produce, the next big stars like you've done in Ukraine? What do we need to do in Nigeria to start with to have a very good grassroots system for football to start with? That our national team is going to feed from all this, grassroots teams and everything, and our league is going to be well balanced and well structured. What I'm asking you now, like you're talking with the sport minister calls on you and says, "Okay, come here, let's have a discussion over this. What do we need to do about this grassroots system?" Because we always say the youth is the future of tomorrow in every career and everything. And also, as it stands now, where, like I say, we see the problem, but we want to talk about solution. We're getting drained in almost every sector in Nigeria as it stands because I wouldn't want to use the word the structure, the foundation is shaky, sort of. When you don't have the right people in the right place to manage a structure, there's always a problem and deficiency at the end of it. Let's take, for instance, now in the team we have in AFCON now, we couldn't get two or three home-based players inside of it. I'm not against, oh, don't bring in foreign players or anything, but I believe there should be a blend. There should be this, because indirectly we are devaluing our league, whether we like it or not, if we do not have one or two players or three solid players in the first team there. So as coach now, as you now, they now call you because you are not also a coach. You're not only a coach. I've seen someone that understands business, also someone that understands
Yeah,
structural,
yeah.
you know, stuff and everything. So if you're being called on and the sport minister calls, okay, let's see, what can you do? What are the things, or what are the things you would put in place to have a very solid grassroots system in Nigeria?
Um,
Solutions now.
First of all, everything boils down to organization and management. Then after that, you start talking about the infrastructure. I'll give an example with the Shakhtar Donetsk program. What they did was this, and the government was also like really, really involved in this, the regional government. The regional government built astro fields in practically every primary school. They have primary and secondary together. It's like from class 1 to class 11. So they have like they built astro turfs practically every football, every primary, every school, let me put it that way. It could be 5 a side, it doesn't matter. It could be 5 a side. Then the school might have a bigger pitch with grass, big they manage during the summer and stuff. But at least even during the winter, the astro is there for them to train. So government put up that. Now, Shakhtar Donetsk have a structure, an organization called Shakhtar Social. So their responsibility then, even as of today, is like to work now. It's not about themselves now. They now go to all these secondary schools and they go like, okay, you have the Peaches, the Astros. Okay, you bring them. We have coaches who will come in and use that as a kind of base for the kids, not just the ones in the school, the ones living around it. So imagine the number of schools like you have in a given town in Nigeria, having a small pitch, having coaches, at least with minimum, let's say, of UFC, coming there to help them. So before you know it, within a few months, you're going to have good teams playing not just amongst like in the secondary school competitions. You see them also playing as clubs as well in regional tournaments. So everything has to start with that vision. I don't come to a system where there is no vision, there is no program. It's something we have to sit down and agree. And I would bring it up. While growing up, you and I remember the inter-house sports programs. It was fantastic there. I mean, the likes of, the Eagles of the 94s. It was like they started from inter-house sports, the principal cups in states. Then we used to have like the Imo state where I'm from. We used to have like the Warrior tournament with all the secondary school playing. Then the winners now go to from one winner from each local government, they play like the state level. And from there they go to national.
Yeah.
See, and it was huge then. It was huge. I mean, that was when we didn't have like fields and all that. And I'll give you an example. My own secondary school where I came from brought out the likes of Benny Roja. Let me just use him as one example. So, and some other players who played in the MPFL then, those years. And that was how they started. But lately, you see that you don't have those tournaments, you don't have those competitions anymore. We have to go back to that. We need to go back to that. And you need to have a program where you have to train young coaches. It could be anybody who could be like doing it like part-time. It's not going to be expensive to get them, go through the courses like the first level training, football coaching programs. They know the basics of working with, like grassroots football. Get them to work in these schools. They can even work as volunteers because volunteerism is like something that really helps grow football. Even in the UK, in England, in all these small places, you have volunteer coaches. For them, they are giving out their time. Their CVs are also being added up. That they are volunteering somewhere and they are gaining experience. And this is good enough whenever they want to apply for jobs everywhere, any other team, in the future. So we have to first, like I said, go back to the primary and secondary schools, get them into having some mini competitions, get coaches, young coaches. It could be even secondary school boys, it could be university guys, it could be anybody. Just come in, get this basic knowledge. Just like, Team Nigeria UK using with David Doherty, bringing in Southampton, to help train. That is exactly what, it kind of proven. Then if we get that running, you're going to have people, you'll be picking players, you'll be knowing them. When you have like state competitions, it's very easy to have boys or girls coming up that you go like, yes, this is a talent, this is a talent, this is a talent. And it's good to also have like the talent, what they call regional development programs, where you pick these players. Maybe you have like on the 16s, you pick like about 30 of them. You bring them in with more qualified coaches who are going to be working with them every time. They could be coming in weekends even, it happens. They come in weekend during the holidays also. They might come in for 1 month, they go into training. So before you know it, the national under 17 team will not need to throw the gates open to a 2,000 players to start looking for Some people coming in for trials and stuff. In these regional development, centers, they already know who is who there. They play competitions, like among themselves within the nation. And the coaches of the national team don't need to go far. They'll come in there and pick players. You're going to have like small academies, not the ones grooming players to sell abroad. No, grooming players to move them into the teams there in Nigeria. So this is the kind of system that has to run, and we have to kind of outline. And this starts from that 5-year-old boy playing somewhere in one primary school, or one 6-year-old playing in one primary school. It will be a kind of pyramid, a ladder that it will still go up and find yourself into the Super Eagles team. This thing is not rocket science, frankly. I think you need people with the mind, with that vision to sit down, and the government will need to also, like get in there and private bodies, corporations, as part of their corporate responsibilities. Like Shakhtar Donetsk is doing it. They have a special a company, that is working Shakhtar Social, and that is their responsibilities. Even today now, the new program Shakhtar Donetsk is having is that do you have a football team? It doesn't matter. It could be a street football team. They organize here at footballs, take kids, take small posts for training and all that, just to like help people, no matter how their level, keep people play, get them to play, get them to learn and grow. So I think the main thing is like having ourselves, telling ourselves the truth that we can't start hoping on the foreign born players. Every time we have to develop our own, and you can't develop them just by, not investing. We need to invest. The government need to put part of it to provide infrastructure, like I mentioned. Corporate bodies need to come in there. And then volunteers. The structure is not going to be that difficult to handle. People like me, that is my mission, my vision in the future, that I want to come back home one day and join this whole program so that we can produce the next best things in the world.
Okay. This drives us to the next question, which I was about to ask. For you, what's your future aspiration? Which I think you've answered now. Are you seeing yourself as an administrator in the sporting client in the near future, or you want to pursue as a coach per se? Say, oh, I'm aspiring to be maybe the Super Eagles coach, or I'm aspiring to work with NFF in structural developmental stuff, like you said. So, what category is Coach Obi? Let's say now the sport minister is listening to this now and he's saying, okay, I'm building a team, because I think he's really trying to work for him to even be open to have the Southampton, the Duartes and everything. I've been seeing his post a whole lot. I think he's really willing to work with all sports, not just football alone. So if he's looking out for talent and everything now, people to assist, because we need helping hands in every category, from the coaching down to the. And I believe for someone like me, maybe based on my orientation, I'm a project manager by discipline. So I believe so much in project managing things from beginning to the end. So you need expert opinion in whatever thing you want to do. So as a person, as Coach Obi, what's the future plan and aspiration for you going forward?
I'm somebody that never put all my eggs in one basket. And what I do is that in any field that I'm in, I make sure I cover everything that hovers around it. So apart from being a football coach, I have UEFA B license right now. By God's grace, this year I'll be going for the UEFA A license, because I don't stop anything that I start. I like getting to the end no matter what. And my aspiration is to make sure I get the A, and in the nearest future I go for the pro license. Yeah. Then that will give me an opportunity to work with any team anywhere in the world. I can put it like that. And secondly, over the past 2 years, I've gotten like a major award certificate here in Ireland in sports, leisure management, and fitness. So right now I'm also a certified fitness coach, gym instructor. I have certificates in football, what do you call it, diets, in injury management and all that. So I have certificates in all these modules as well. So I can as well manage, can as well plan and all that. So And in the next future, I'm still taking that higher to get more certification in that. So I'm not trying, I never put so everything around football, everything around sports or my football, I like getting in there. That's who I am.
Yeah,
I like mastering everything around me. I never
but
take,
but
I
as
don't take hostages, you know.
it stands, do you um I wouldn't want to say if they call you to come and coach the national team, maybe the under 17 or 18 or 19 or under 21, if you will. But we all have also as it stands, we all have aspiration. Even though we spread, I've done a lot of things also. That's the way, as a man, you have to be very calculative, you have to be aware of your environment, and you have to keep growing and evolving as things goes on.
Yeah,
But also
yeah,
there are fundamental aspirations inside of us we want to accomplish. Some people, like the previous coach I spoke with, he says he wants to coach Super Eagles, and that's why he's doing all the certifications he's doing. He
yeah.
dreams to one day coach the national team. He doesn't even mind starting from under 15 or under 10, under 1. But his dream is to represent his country, to stand in that, the coaching side of his country and win a trophy with Nigeria. We know all these things we're doing abroad, whether you work with Shakhtar Donetsk, they are all means to an end to something. So what's the future end for you, Coach Obi, as it stands? Do you intend, so like Doherty now, he used to play football before
Yeah,
he went into administration.
right.
He's not saying he wants to coach the national team. He's saying he wants to be NFF president. He's saying he wants to go into administration. He already plotted a graph for himself, which I believe you guys are almost in the same age category, if not mistaken. So for Coach Obi now, what category do you, because I see you as someone that will still give back to the country big time.
Oh,
I
sure.
follow your work and I see the passion and everything, and I see your hand in places you don't even think I know. I see that you're there. So for Coach Obi, what's the future plan for Nigeria now? Don't let's say the world now,
Ah,
but
okay.
Nigeria as it stands.
Yeah. First of all, of course, I would like to give back, like you mentioned. And I'm someone like, if I see a problem, then that means I'm part of the solution. That is my philosophy as well. And there is a problem with football organization in Nigeria in general, in every aspect of it. So it is, I would say that I would love to be part of the coaching crew of any of the national teams. I don't mind starting from the under 15 if they exist, because that is an important stage where they
True.
get everything properly correct. Then when they transit to the under 16, under 17s, under 18s, under 20s, they already gotten everything right. And easily they can get into the Super Eagles team. Yes, I would love to give back. I would love to be part of the coaching crew of any of the national teams, any level, anywhere, male, female, so that we can, get the right training methods, get the right results, get the right players in there. It is something I have in my mind, something I have in my heart that I want to be part of. I want to be part of also not just coaching, like I said, about management as well. Fantastic. I already have like experience, like working in the grassroots system of Shakhtar Donetsk and in Ukraine in general. Again, that is just the basics. It is something I would want to be part of in Nigeria. If I come in, the sports minister calls me, like I always, for example, I'll say, okay, where are the problems at this point in time? Okay, what am I going to work with? Who do we have? It's not just me alone. If I see the likes of the Davids, the Coach Sylvester Yeres, and other people, fine. To be easy now, I can say, okay, at this point in time, I think I can give more over here in the management stuff or the coaching part. Or I am leaving everything open. These are two departments where I think that I really, really would love to give back to my country.
Perfect, perfect. Let's hit it straight. So to the sport minister, we're seeing capable hands coming out to, to give their support. They want to help the grassroots in Nigeria. We're not just saying, oh, okay, there are some people that will talk about the problem from now till next year, but they don't want to be part and parcel of the solution. Here are people that wants to be part of the solution with results. They have results already. It has been proven. He's worked with the whole nation. He's worked with one of the most prestigious team in Europe, and it has a license as a backing. You know, we I'm going to say this clearly. We have lots of coaches in Nigeria that are not capable enough to handle the national team that are handling it. It's high time we start looking at capacity, and it's high time we start putting the right people in the right position. You know, we have a whole lot of coaches in Nigeria that have been recycling themselves. That coaching sector in Nigeria is more like a cartel now as it stands. You know, you see the same coach manage under 17 this year, and the next tournament is managing under 19 or under 21, and there's no doings. Like, you know, we say in the Nigerian clan, no doings to back it up. We have to rise up to the occasion. We have to put the right people at the right place for us to get the right results with desire. If we want our grassroots to work, if we want our league to work, we have to put the right people at the right place, not just for football alone, but for every sport in Nigeria. So I'm pleading to you, the sport minister, if peradventure you see this, you know, because I know you're a very, very attentive person. I see you online. You're always, you know, tweeting and everything. You tend to, you know, to be this sport minister that listens to the people, that wants to connect with the people. If we need to build, we need to put the right people in the right place. So going to the next question, Coach Obi, you know,
if I may cut in, something I wouldn't want us to miss.
yeah,
Talking about working with the grassroots and what I'm doing now. I don't want us to pass that. When we left Ukraine, we got to Hungary, Budapest. I spent 2 months in Budapest because I was hoping that the war is going to be over soon. You know, it's not going to take that long. You know, then we'll go back to Ukraine. So I was approached by 3 different clubs to work with them, and mostly with their grassroots. So I sat down with each of them for about 3 weeks, each team. You know, I looked at their structure, looked at, you know, their mission, their vision, saw the lads, watched their teams play, the younger ones to the main teams and all that. You know, fantastic. Hungary has a fantastic system as well. You're working with the grassroots. They put special sports tax that anything you buy or companies pay taxes, you have tax, sports tax, and this money go into provision of infrastructure, you know, funding of clubs, creating new ones, sports in general. I mean, I'm not saying we should start that, but it tells you, I'm talking about like having a vision, having a mission, you know, this is what we want to achieve. So, but I was made offers there, but you know, when I saw that the war wasn't going to end that soon, trying to settle down, I had to move forward to Ireland. Coming over to Ireland, we all know that Ireland is not like that biggest sporting nation, but they still have the talent. They have the, we remember all the Roy Kings, the Robbie Kings, you
yeah,
know, the Grealish we are also talking about today. I mean, all these are all Irish boys, you know, that maybe moved over to Ireland, to England, and you know, started representing England. And many of them, but the talents are here. So when I got here, I was approached by this club in my town. I sat down with the president, you know, went to the club. I wanted to see the structure, I wanted to see the infrastructure, I wanted to see the management, to see what they have in mind, what they are doing and what they plan to do. And I saw their 7-year development program. I was just amazed, you know, and I saw that they have this mission, this vision. They have a club academy where they got kids from ages 5 to 10. So he started bringing me back to Shakhtar Donetsk, you know, and we sat down, planned with them. They didn't have like a female team as such. There's a female team now, women's team. They have the younger girls team as well. So, you know, I sat down with them. I shared my ideas, shared my own experiences, which they adapted as well now in the club's development program. And when I was asked, choose where you want to like work with us, they gave me that open hand. Said choose. You have the main team, you have like the youth structure, whatever it is. I told them, we're talking about tomorrow. If I'm coming in with to work with your main team now, the young lads coming in are still going to play what you're playing and continue. There's not going to be more development. I want to go back to the grassroots system. I made that one clear. So I'm right now working with the grassroots system, with the academy, with children between the ages of 5 and 10. You know, there are volunteer coaches there. I'm one of the most experienced, so I try to help all the coaches, the younger ones, you know, structure their trainings and to put in a good, specific football structure, football DNA. Let me put it that way, football DNA in the team. It's not about coaching the bigger ones. No, younger lads for 5 years now, they're already passing through this DNA, all underage teams. And I also manage the under 15 teams and a 15 team as well. And, made them restructure the team totally, from a minor team. Right now, we are title contenders in the Irish, in the regional league. And we're going to play the semi-finals of the Irish Cup, under 15 Cup, maybe in the next 2 weeks. So the results are there, and they cherish me for that. I cherish the club because I saw a club with a vision, with a plan, going forward. So I'm telling you that we have more in Nigeria. We have more talents in Nigeria than in Ireland, definitely. So if we can just put up a good structure in Nigeria, I mean, it's going to be left for the world to catch up with us. So that's just what I want to add on that.
Yeah, which is perfect. And that brought something to mind. In the previous interview I had with the chief scout of Inter Lagos, who is also an FA certified scout and all that. He said something. He said the growth, the assimilation or the time for a footballer to turn professional. That the most critical period for a footballer is between the ages of 6 to 14 thereabouts.
That's
If they
it.
don't get it right within that period, they don't get the fundamentals within that period, it's over.
That's
There's
right.
nothing we can do about that again. And I also remember speaking with Coach Ayere. He says there are lots of footballers in Nigeria, but there are lots of footballers that don't understand the fundamentals. What do they do outside of, how do they time their run if they're not with the ball? How do they play without the ball? Which is where the coaching education now comes in. Now, my question to you is this: how, in your own little way, because we have a lot of coaches in Nigeria, and the problem now is funding for them to even attain these certification programs. I really was complaining, about not even having this Africa was not
Ah,
even having any certification in Nigeria
yeah.
to start with. They have to go to Ghana to write their certification exam. We are pleading to the government, help these people. These things, we are giants of Africa as it stands. We are supposed to even be having, as of now, UEFA certification programs in Nigeria. Why do we have to go to Ghana to even write exams? But out of that now, as a coach yourself, and you see a lot of young aspiring coaches in Nigeria, how could you help? I wouldn't mind even organizing workshops and all that as it stands, because for grassroots players to have that fundamental knowledge, they need the right coaching, the right coach around them also. Because if you're as good as your coach, you're as good as what you're being told to play and how you're being told to play. He was saying something about, when he was in Dubai, a lot of Nigerian people and players, they are bringing in players to come and, trial and everything. They are good. They know how to play football, but their off the ball work is poor. The technicality is poor, which is still all those things, the ingredients of, like you said, the structure we need to lay down. It eats every part and everything. But to start with that, we know the government cannot do it alone. We still need capable hands to help in maybe organizing workshops for the coaches, or helping them. We can have like a webinar where maybe once in a month. How do you intend helping these coaches? Because that's just my question. How can you be of help to the local coaches, someone that doesn't have 2 million to go and write his exam in Ghana and all that? How do you help them?
The thing is, there are many courses online that people can take, and it's always good to also have a coach mentor. It's very, very important. Right now, I have two young coaches in Nigeria that I'm mentoring, and one from Ghana. They found me just like this, on the internet. I asked them questions. I saw the job they're doing, and I always like give them advice, give them kind of each formation, how you play properly, how you bring up training, most importantly, training methods. And believe me, when I tell them that you don't need to run around the pitch 5 times, that's your warm up. I tell them that is not warm up. That is just, I don't even know what to call it. They're looking at me like they're surprised. You mean, I say that's not it. Many of them lack this basic knowledge, unfortunately. Answering your question, personally, like I said, I have three young African coaches, and I'm mentoring, I'm helping them. And if and when we're going to have any coaching certification in Nigeria done by maybe Southampton or any of the ones that I can even help pay, I'm ready to do that for them. And this is my own personal, contribution to them. But again, it's something that the government, the National Institute of Sports, the NFF, and all the regulatory bodies will need to, handle. I read somewhere that CAF stopped organizing CAF licensing, programs in Nigeria.
Yeah, since
That's why,
2017 or
yes,
so.
that's why our coaches need to go outside and do it. But look at Morocco. Last time they had CAF licensing program in Morocco, about 70% of the coaches there were from Morocco. Morocco made sure they hosted it and they brought in their young coaches to learn from this. Doing UEFA courses as well, you can go out there, across the border with these coaches. They are, of course, it's higher than CAF licenses, no matter no matter what you say, And you go in there, get the certification done. But for those who don't have the money, the 2 million to go and pay, and there are
That
online
was what I was
courses.
about to say. How is a coach that doesn't even that's been paid 50,000 a month? How would he afford to say he wants to go and do UEFA
Yeah,
certification?
there are online courses that will teach you the basics, the same level as level one of football coaching. They are there online. There are sites out there. I don't want to start doing
Yep.
adverts for them, but there are sites out there that you can do. Personally, I'm doing an online course now with Barcelona AFC University now. It's going to be a 4-month course. After that, I'll do the next step, which is a 1-year course. So I'm not just relying on my UEFA license because football is evolving. I'm also learning in the process. And there's a lot to learn. Sometimes I open up some things and they explain the mentors, they explain some things. I go like, oh, wow, I thought it was like this. Now I'm realizing it's even this huge. Because you mentioned something about when these young players from Nigeria they go abroad, they don't know maybe the running, the timing and stuff. That is the big problem because when most of them travel out of Nigeria to organized countries, they start unlearning what they learned in Nigeria, and they start learning how things should be properly done. That's why sometimes you see that guy you think he's a star in Nigeria. When he gets outside there, you don't hear about him anymore. Because it's no
True.
more about kick and follow or kick and run and things like that, many other things. In modern football now, why teams, if you see now what is going on in the world, teams now are balancing up, both club sides, national teams, even no names all of a sudden in goals. You see them now, rubbing shoulders with like the powerhouses. Why? Because in modern football, that's what you call now individual fundamentals of play, per position or per person. What is that? Each position on the pitch, 11 players. What do you do with the ball, without the ball, at any given point in time in the match? If you are here or you are there, each, let's say, let's say number 6, let's take the CDM. What do you do off the ball, with the ball? When you are here and this is the situation, this person is not here, this person is here, what do you do? Each scenario can have about 100 different options. So if you get players to understand that, like I was saying at the beginning, to help them to start thinking, finding solutions to problems at every point in time, and getting a great team. Why is Pep doing well? He looks for smart players who could find those solutions quickly. That is why Pep is excelling. That's why he is excelling. He finds those players who can find solutions to those problems at any point in time, off the ball, with the ball, at any point in time. Many coaches don't understand that. And unfortunately, in Africa, many coaches don't even understand what I just explained. So somebody said, nothing like formation. You go in there, it's 11 against 11. We just go there, we play. That's not it.
Man
Each
against man.
person has to know. It's not both bars. It's not both bars. Each person has to know what to do, where, when, and stuff. And that's why you're seeing, teams like Cape Verde, teams like Equatorial Guinea, with no names, rubbing shoulders with everybody because they're understanding this fundamental, play, per position or per player. And that's it. And that's it. So it's something that has to be imbibed in the system. Let the coaches understand it. Then they can be in the position to give this knowledge to the players. You can't give what you don't have. Like you rightly said, the coach, the footballers need to learn from the coaches. If the coaches have they have nothing to give, there's nothing for the player to take. So you have to also coach the coaches, train the trainers in that position so that let them get the certification, see how things are being done lately, and then try to raise very, very good players.
Wow, that's awesome. And the final stages that we would want to talk about would be the AFCON stage. We want to know your prediction for the next match and how far you think Nigeria will go. AFCON.
First of all, I think, and I'll say it loudly, that if we get our acts together, we can go all the way. We can go all the way. I'm very happy that the coach or the coaching crew in general, they finally found out what suits us best. For months, I've been saying it on every platform that, first of all, I don't like criticizing coaches, ethically, I don't do that. I might say, oh, I would have done this, or oh, maybe this would have been better. And when people ask me, oh, this our coach is not good, he's this, he's that, the NFF is this, my only answer is this. I see that the whole system, both the coaching crew, the administrators, the managing, everything, what we have in place is not helping us bring out the best in the boys. By that, I mean, if you're talking about the coaches, they're not finding the right formation, the right way to bring out the best in the boys, find the right. Like somebody like me, when I watched the crop of players we had, I said, we cannot play 4-4-2 game. The 4-3-3 we play was already so easily read that they click the wingers, and that's it. We don't have a plan B. You play 4-4-2, you have two midfielders in the middle. They use three midfielders against them, maybe with a 4-3-3 solution or 4-2-3-1. That's it. The midfield is already broken. They will start blaming Onyeka or blaming Ndidi or anything. No, it's not his fault. He's outnumbered. He's outfoxed. But right now, we're playing more with wing backs. And I said it long. I said, look, this team is blessed with natural wing backs. Even many of them are not even in the team right now, like the Ebue Keys, the Jamilu Collins and stuff. And thank God. So we are playing the best that we can play. The formation we are playing now, the approach, the tactical approach, going to 5-4 when we're under pressure and transiting forward as quickly as possible. I mean, it is the best that this team can. This is the best way you can get the best out of the boys. Let me put it that way. So, talking about my predictions, it's a tough one. Being a coach, I never like making I never make predictions. I never. People ask me what I said no, because a lot of things I see football from a different angle, not like a spectator watching on TV. Somewhere betting. No, I know that a lot of things can happen on the pitch. Somebody can get red card in the 10th minute, and that's the game is gone. No matter how good you are, how strong you are, or injury, or something might happen. The opponent finds your weak points. So I try not to make predictions. Making predictions for me is like just like let me just say. But of course, as a passionate Nigerian, I want the guys to go further. I think all things being equal, we should beat Angola. Against Cameroon, I made guys clear. I say, from what I have seen so far, Nigeria is going to beat Cameroon. I wasn't bothered. I was not even tensed on that match. I was sure we're going to beat them. But I watched them. I analyzed the team. I think Angola is going to give us tougher time. But obviously, going to give us a tougher time. And I think the game will be won if we're able to curtail their weak transitioning. They're going to play from behind. They'll play from behind, definitely, hoping to go counter attack. But when you have the likes of Lukman and Osimhen breathing behind your defenders, you can't venture forward anyhow. So they want to do quick transitioning from their defense when they intercept, get the ball quickly forward and try to counter us and maybe score. But that's what I see them. That's what I would do from the position. So I think our coaches are watching. They've been good enough in analyzing openings and trying to use the right strategy of them. So all things being equal, I think we can beat Angola. I think the only team that can beat Nigeria now is Nigeria, if we get our things right. That is the confidence that I have, because I think they've gotten the things right.
Well, fair enough.
And with the element of luck as well. This is football. You never know. You never know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So we've established the fact that you'll be interested in managing the national team in any of the categories to start with. And in conclusion, what I would, normally I like doing this, and why I do it is because I believe everybody has something to give back to the nation. That's why I
Yeah.
want to ask this question. If Okay, let me reframe it to make it easier for you. How do you, in moving going forward now, what would your advice be to the young coaches in Nigeria? You've already given some already. Look out for courses and everything you can do and everything. But let's be realistic. Dollar to $1 to naira now, is not smiling. These certifications are not free. Also, even though you say they are free, they have to buy data. They have to, why I didn't ask much about coaching in Nigeria is because you never coached in that category. Ayuri coached there, he understood. So he knows the reality of some certain things, in that sector, right? Because he says, as a coach in Nigeria, you are their spiritual father, you are their financier, yeah, you are not only a coach in Nigeria, coach is the truth. A player will come to meet you, coach, my boots no good, oh. Coach, I never chop, oh. Coach, I dey sleep, winch they pursue me, or my leg got swollen on the day of match and everything. There are lots of factors in place there, right? So it's easy to say, oh, let them take online certification courses and everything. But in the reality of it, I've spoken to some of them, I've seen some of them. As at yesterday or 2 days ago, I said I had to go and give out soccer boots to some grassroots footballers in Southern Kaduna to start with. We wouldn't put that online and everything, but there's a whole lot going on. Poverty has affected lots of things. A lot of people know they can go online on YouTube, but lots of them will tell you, okay, I don't get money for data. Now
Mm.
data use do this thing and everything. So I'm talking about reality now, right? They know this guy still wants to strive to get up there. They know what they can do. They know if I go on YouTube, I'll see how Pep is coaching. I can see all these things. But data, they don't even have money for data. The team they are coaching is offering them maybe 60K or 70K as a coach on a monthly basis. Some of them, the chairman, like if is angry, might not even pay them salary. Even the NPFL, we see the stashed up areas they are owing coaches, even footballers and everything. So I'm just trying to paint the scenario to let you understand what's
Mm.
really going on before we say, oh, they should take this and everything. There's a whole lot involved. So how, in your own way, you said you're already mentoring two of them, which is perfect. You know, there's this thing we're trying to do to widen up the net, have maybe like an association or something, because the same knowledge you're giving to can be given to 50 or 100 at the same time. The internet has made everything very easy and comfortable. We can organize a webinar. If you don't even have internet, we can set it up somewhere, go there. We have the experienced coaches you can speak with, or, we set it up and everything like that. So my question is, let the doings now, how do you intend moving forward? Because you became who you are today because you had the opportunity to pot. Some don't even have the idea of how to pot. I interviewed a tennis coach recently. We haven't put it up out there. And I was amazed at what he earned. I was amazed. The basic fundamental tools, this guy had to improvise for basic fundamental tools. Fundamentals, like fundamentals. So it's a deep thing. So when I see people say, "Oh," I laugh because I know it's deep. Poverty is really affecting these guys, but some of them, based on the passion they have for this sport, they are stuck in there, and some of us have to start pulling them gradually, however ways. But thank God now there are more competitions coming up in Nigeria. Private leagues are coming up. In Lagos they have private leagues. I spoke with Chioma. They have private league in Abuja also, Abuja Elite League, and a lot of
Yeah.
private leagues are coming up. And some of them will start seeing, little gigs and here and there and everything and all that. So, coach, what do you think moving forward we can do as a person for all these aspiring coaches? And also, what's your advice for aspiring coaches? You've given one already, and to aspiring grassroots footballer, and we close with that.
Well, let me start with the grassroots footballers. The thing is, work hard, believe in yourself. Um, I mean, most of the stars that we have today in Nigeria started like, none of them was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. So no matter how poor your family could be, no matter how maybe whatever you don't have the kids or anything, keep playing. Let the passion push you forward. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you have opportunity to watch football, watch that position that you're playing, watch those masters that you love, see how they do those things. Access to internet, loads of YouTube um, videos that you can use to learn, and go out there, play your heart out, and please always be willing to learn. Always be willing to learn. Don't think you have already achieved everything, at any point in time. Always continue learning, and then hope to get the opportunity. Hoping that maybe the kind of things I might want to, get my hands involved in Nigeria would like kind of reach such players and empower them as well. There are players who have reached out to me for one help or the other. In my position, I've helped quite a lot of them. It's this or that. I don't want to mention all these things in public. Yeah, but you know, if you're out there, make sure um like make sure you just get the best. Do the best. They put it that. Put in your passion, and let's hope that in the nearest future different programs by the government from people like us, people like you, will kind of reach you and help you achieve your dreams and get the best out of you. And talking to the coaches, again, same thing is, passion. When you have that passion, it's very, very hard for anything to push it down, no matter the difficulties or the hurdles in front of you. Just keep it. Whatever you're doing, with whatever you have, keep moving. But keep finding ways to acquire more knowledge. Like you just mentioned it now. I'll be willing any day, anytime if you can organize a kind of webinar with young coaches, I have materials, I have things I can share with them, like that could help them get the basics of coaching, the very basics. This is something we can also discuss, maybe off camera, and all pleasure. I'll be 100%, willing to help. Just like, most of the messages I get are like players who want to who want to get things abroad. I tell them, guys, please keep me out of that. But the young ones who call me go like, okay, I want to learn, I'm a young coach. Where do I start from? What do I need to? I jump on those ones. I give them the best advice. What I can, any way I can facilitate their learning process. I've always done it anywhere, anytime. I'm always available to mentor them or to help them in any solution. Give them tasks which they do report, so that I will also see that yes, they're taking this thing very, very seriously and they are growing and they are learning. So in any capacity necessary, not just myself, it's any individual, any organization, I already have an understanding with the faculty and the rest. Definitely, I'm available, I'm willing, I'm ready, I'm able.
Thank you very much, Coach. Um, I enjoy speaking with you as a person anyway. And the simplicity in the way you approach things really helped in making everything very, very, very comfortable. Thank you, Coach Obi. We really appreciate you. Would obviously have you back very soon because we know you have lots of things you're still working on, and there are a lot of things where we also would work with you very soon. And very, very soon we'll have you back. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate your time. If peradventure you have anything, you know how to reach me and everything.
Oh,
Thank
sure.
you. And moving forward, for the audience out there, we're going to be including his handles in everything we're posting, so you can also reach out to him. Not to say you want to jackpot. For young coaches, you heard, it's very clear. He's open. They can mentor you. They can give you, but also you have to factor in that he's a very busy person. He's a father. He's a coach. He works. He has other things. He's a business person. So you have to be polite with it, because I see there are lots of people, even in our DM, the way they would harass you like you owe them, like the sense
Yeah.
of how do I call it now, the sense of entitlement is always crazy. You have to be polite in doing what you have to do. I reached out to him via online also, but you have to also understand the politeness, how to approach people. Those are part of the things that you should also learn as a person. your approach is very important. It could open doors you never even thought it will open. So you can reach out to him. We'll put his handle down here and also tell you how you can reach him. And for aspiring coaches, we will let you know what we're planning when he's ready. And we'll tell you those that would have on board. Thank you and have a wonderful time listening to this.